Welcome to Chautauqua People. I'm John V. Our guest today is Mike Starks, who serves as superintendent of the Chautauqua Utility District, where he's responsible for street lighting, fresh water, and wastewater operations. Mike is a native of Cattaraugus County, a product of Jamestown Community College, Fredonia State, and Empire State College. He's licensed to operate both freshwater and sanitary sewer operations. Tell me, Mike, is the Chautauqua Utility District part of Chautauqua Institution?
It's a separate organization. We work very closely with the institution employees, mostly the maintenance staff. But yeah, we're totally our own separate utility. We do provide some services kind of outside of the grounds.
Now, do you have a dedicated board that oversees?
Yes, we have a board of commissioners. They're basically my boss, so I answer to them, and they are homeowners in Chautauqua in the institution. They have to live there full time to be on the board, and so they're representing the public there.
How often do they meet?
Once a month, roughly.
Once a month.
Yep.
So you have to get ready once a month
Yep.
to their questions and anticipate it.
Yep.
Now, can you go a little further and describe the area that you serve beyond the institution?
Yeah, so most of our services are inside the fence, but then we provide bulk water to the Chautauqua shores, which I think there's roughly 60 homes, 70 homes there. And then we have a contract with the town for that. We also have a contract with the town for the Mandolin Ridge project that was just being built there behind Klingensmiths. And we're looking to expand even farther with them and start providing water down 394 towards Mayville. On the sewer side of things, we work together with North Chautauqua Lake Sewer District here in Mayville. They send sewage from Prendergast Point back to the institution. All those homes that are in there comes back to us, and we treat that. So,
Do those people say that pay the same rates as those of us on the?
No, actually they pay a higher rate, and on outside of the fence they pay a higher rate.
Got it. Now, how did you work your way through the system to your present position?
Oh, I just started. I was a young man, and I was eager and did whatever they asked me to do, and I guess somebody took a liking to me, and over time I spent time at the water plant a number of years there, got certified. Then I went to the wastewater plant, got certified there. Then I was the assistant superintendent while Tom Cherry, the old superintendent, was getting ready to retire himself. So I spent a few years doing that. And then when he left, I think it's been 7 years now so that I've been superintendent.
Mm-hmm.
So
What is the certification process like?
It's different for water and sewer. They both kind of speak a different language. Yeah, on the water side of thing, depending on the size of the plant you're going to be operating, both of them you have to go through your time on the job. They have a certain amount of time that they want you to work before you can get certified. And then you go away to water school is like 2 weeks for our size facility. And at the end of that, you take a state test, and if you pass the test, you're a certified water operator. On the wastewater side of things is a little more convoluted. You have your basic operations for 2 weeks, and then which is a college class in 2 weeks. There's quite a lot of information that gets thrown at you, and then you have your lab course for a week, and then you have like our plant is an activated plant, meaning we add air to it on the sewer side. So you have to go away to an activated class to learn about controlling air. So, and then it goes through a bunch of, you send in all your information, and the certification, the tests that we've completed, that all goes to a couple different organizations. They look at it and make sure that we're good to go. Goes to the New York State DEC, and then they schedule a test, and you sit down and take a test. So it's a little more of a headache on the wastewater side of things.
So it's not a cakewalk?
No.
By any means. Okay, let's switch gears a little bit, and let's talk about the new lighting at the institution. And Bill Netchus and John Dilley were here in our previous program, and they described the old equipment and identification of the new equipment in their episode. However, you're the guy who actually made it happen, and can you talk me through what you did?
Well, first of all, it takes a crew to do everything, so it wasn't just me that did it, you know, from our board to other guys that we work with, you know, then contractors that we used. But that was one of the first big things I did when I became superintendent. Was we signed a pretty historic contract with National Grid to purchase assets off them. We were the first organization to ever do that. The gentleman spoke earlier. They said that was the first time, and we had to go through the Public Service Commission and get their approval. And then we came to an agreement on a contract, and we were able to start buying lights and installing lights and changing them over. And going from some places, they were 400 watt lights. Now they're all uniform 25 watt light.
So that would include both the high lights, like in the parking lots,
Mm-hmm.
as well as the walkway lights. They're about 10 feet tall, are they not?
Yeah.
And then these waist-high ones in some other areas.
So the institution actually owns like the bollard ones on the pathways.
Really?
Those
Okay.
aren't ours. But I know those guys were instrumental in helping just decide on the style that they got for those. So
Okay. So tell me a little bit about the process of getting the new gear installed.
after we signed the contract, then we because we're the local utility that pays the electrical costs, it goes through us. The institution pays back some to us, and then we pay the rest of it. After we got the contract signed, we have to work through a competitive bid process where we do a sealed bid. We send out a bid to all different kinds of contractors and manufacturers for anything that we do over a certain dollar value.
Mm-hmm.
And we opened the bids. We decided on an electrical contractor pretty quick, but we did get a light bid when we really were hoping to get this Neary light was the one the committee wanted.
Yeah.
And when we went to bid, we had a couple of different options that we could look at.
Mm-hmm.
And we put up some test lights, and we looked. We did some color testing and stuff under them at night
Mm-hmm.
to kind of see which light we felt was the best, which put the most light on the ground in the way we wanted it. So there's not a lot of light trespass coming out of the sides of the
Yeah.
light. We were really hoping to get that one light. It just was the light that the committee really wanted and we thought would look good in Chautauqua. Unfortunately, that one was the highest cost. After we looked at the other lights and did a lot of testing and stuff on them, we decided that we really liked that light, so we rebid again, and we actually got them much cheaper than the first time we went out to bid.
So you got the Neary lights
And we saved money by doing that.
after playing hardball with them.
Yeah, so we also did save a substantial amount of money. Every year we paid a lease agreement with National Grid. So not only did the cost of the electrical costs go down, but we paid off that lease agreement. Basically what we paid them for the contract was a little less than 2 years of the lease fees that we would have paid.
Okay.
So we saved a lot of money there. We saved a lot of money now in electrical costs. So we were able to modernize all the lights without having to raise the tax levy for the street lighting line item on homeowners.
Now,
So-
did you do a bonding process, or how did you manage that?
Yep, so we got a bond anticipation note first, the amount of money for both installation and for the equipment. And we actually were able to pay that off without going to bonding with some reserve fund that we had. And the bond costs a lot. When you go to bonding, you have to pay for attorney's fees. So we were able to save that money as well by using some reserve money that the district had to pay it off. So
And then out of the lighting, you're recovering that to the. Is that done now, or still in the process of?
I still think we have a couple more years. We basically borrowed it from our other departments and we're paying it back.
Yeah.
So,
And that seemed to be a very sensible process, isn't it?
yeah.
Now, tell me about the changing of the lights and what the electrical contractor did.
Basically, what they had to do was remove the old equipment. We went to all new with the decorative fixtures and nearies. We had a local machine shop build new street lighting arms that we kind of decided, you know, we went off of a couple different designs and had them make a couple of mock-ups for us. And then we decided on one, and they powder coated them, and they should last quite a while. But on the other style of light, we had the Creed lights, the Cobra head. They're a little bit, you know, higher up, parking lots, things like that. So some of them needed different size arms. So we were able to purchase a couple different size arms depending on where they were going to be and what would fit
So
in
that
that
was
area.
basically stock stuff.
Yep. And then the electrical contractor came in, they removed all the old equipment, they installed the new equipment, and then National Grid had a standard of things that we had to follow of where we could put the lights on their transmission poles. They had to fall in between the communication lines and the transmission lines. If there are poles, we bought like half of the poles that just have the electrical service going to the light. We now own all those poles, but on all of them we had to put in a fuse disconnect system that if the pole ever gets hit or the light gets hit, it'll actually disconnect so it won't continue running
Now,
after
was
it's
that an
hit.
improvement? Did the old system have the fuse disconnect?
No, they did not. So that now has quite the system on it.
So in terms of the new equality, better lighting, lower cost, more reliable lighting going incandescent to LED, and an improvement in the safety because of these fuse devices.
Yes.
Sounds like a win-win-win-win-win
I think so.
proposition.
Yeah.
So that must make you feel very good about seeing that through
Yeah.
to completion.
It did take a few years, but
You stay with it. Now, let's switch gears here, and let's get back to your original work. Tell me about the freshwater system. And we may have some pictures here, if Chuck can bring them up at an appropriate time.
yes. So we are rated to pump up to 1.5 million gallons per day at our plant. We roughly do in the wintertime, 30 to 50,000 a day, depending on the day, and then in the summertime about 500,000
Yeah.
roughly. So it's a big change over, you know,
Yeah.
if we ramp up. This picture here is these are our two of our big water pumps in our plant. These are the ones that are designed to break street pressure, so they push water out into the system, and then anything over demand goes into our storage tanks up on the golf course.
Okay, so where are these located now?
These are in the water treatment plant, which is located right behind the colonnade.
So that's the old Morris Avenue,
Yep.
old building.
hmm
How often do you change the equipment like that? Is that a relatively, looks relatively new?
Actually, that was 22 years ago.
Oh, boy.
2004. So we're going to be looking at upgrading here again in the near future. And again, we're been able to, with some smart investing, we've been able to have some funds set aside that we can start that process when we go to start doing engineering. And it's just starting to reach its age. You know, things are aging out a little bit, but so we want to get ahead of it. And
That's living dangerously counting on a 20-year-old pump,
yeah.
isn't it? Now, tell me how the water is treated.
So we go through, there's multiple steps. So we are pumping from Chautauqua Lake. While we're pumping out of the lake, two very similar pumps that you saw there, they just don't have to break the street pressure that these other ones do, but they look the same. While we're pulling out of the lake, we're actually backfeeding a mixture of water and a chemical, potassium permanganate, that is an oxidizer. It creates a cloud around the intake to keep the little fish and zebra mussels and living things away from getting sucked into the pump intake.
Where is the intake?
It's in the lake. I
Okay.
can't really tell you where it is.
Somewhere off, something off the bell tower, that area.
It's in Chautauqua.
Okay.
Can't put a fence around the lake to protect it, so kind of got to keep that on the down low. So
Got it. Okay. And so the cloud is to keep the,
yeah, keep all the animals away from it, fish or anything. We pump up to the treatment facility. We immediately slow the flow of water down through some baffles through the tanks that are there. We add aluminum sulfate to it, which is coagulant. What we're trying to do is to remove as many dirt particles as we can, because that's where little nasties like to hide. So the more dirt we can get out of the water, it's called turbidity, the more that we can get that out, the easier it is for us to sanitize it before it leaves the plant. Then it goes through a pretty complicated system of, goes into our settling tanks that have these big mixers in there that are called flocculators. And they are, I don't know, maybe 10, 12 feet high, and they're maybe this big, you know,
and where's
6,
the
8 feet
settlement
around.
tank then?
It's attached to the water plant.
And Morris.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And they're designed to basically slow the flow of water down even more, and they move really slow and in opposite directions progressively, so that they're creating like a cyclone, so that the dirt particles fall out. Then it gets pushed up over these membrane plates, and the dirt falls down onto the membrane and then slides off to the bottom of the tank. All the dirt that's in the bottom of the tank gets collected. We have a vacuum tractor system that sucks it all up and sends it to our sewer system, where it gets treated at our sewer plant. After it gets pushed through over the membrane, it goes inside the plant, and then it goes through anthracite, coal, and sand filters with different grades of sand. Gets smaller and smaller, goes through another membrane, and then goes into a storage tank at the plant where it's chlorinated, and it gets its chlorine contact time there so that it's safe to drink. We add another chemical to raise the pH back up, that coagulant, the aluminum sulfate. It does drop the pH, so it makes it a little more acidic. So then we use potassium carbonate in liquid form, and we raise the pH back up.
So, wow, that's a big deal. How does the water get tested?
We do all kinds of in-house sampling daily while we're running, just to see how things are going, the condition of the lake. And then we can kind of we start to see trends. Things don't move real fast, but we kind of see, what's happening, and we can make adjustments to that. But then we do have quite the requirement on testing, especially on the drinking water side. It depends on, there's samples that we do every month. We do bacteriological samples out in the system to make sure the water's safe and healthy to drink. We then take certain samples like once a month. Certain things are tested for once a quarter, once every few months, once every few years. It just depends on what we're looking for. And the state gives us that sampling plan every year to tell us what we are going to be testing for that year. There are some similar things that we do most years, but
Yeah. And then where does the laboratory work get done?
that gets taken to, we do some in-house samples. We've got a small lab in each facility, and then it gets taken to, the bacteriologicals go to the county health department, and then all the rest of the testing goes to ALS labs in Rochester. So we have a courier that picks them up and takes them there.
So that's a no-nonsense process.
Yeah,
And that's not waivable. That's
yeah.
got to be done.
And we take public health and safety with that's just something we take very, very serious.
Yeah.
All of us do. And we know that, we've got to be on the ball with that,
Yeah.
'cause-
Now, am I correct in assuming you've got a continuing education requirement?
yes.
That particularly you as the supervisor,
Yep.
superintendent, I guess is the term we're looking for.
Well, with every license that the state gives on water or wastewater, you have continuing education credits you have
Yeah.
to do. So
And so that's
we
so
keep up on trainings.
You're
and-
updated. So we are very fortunate to have this, are we not? I've never heard of a shortage of water at Chautauqua. Sometimes when it's been dry here elsewhere, but we should make a good citizenship, don't waste it. But I've never heard I'm long-term Chautauquan.
Yeah, we're very blessed to live near the Great Lakes and have access to a lot of good clean water. And I know a lot of people think, oh, that lake gets kind of nasty. I think that would be gross when they think about it to drink it. But actually, it really is a very conventional thing. New York City's a surface water plant, the city of Buffalo. I mean, so there's a lot of very big municipalities that use the lakes that we have access here to
You bet.
treat water. So.
Okay, let's go to your third big area, wastewater.
Yep, in 2017 through 2019, we upgraded our wastewater plant. We went from RBC plant, which is a rotating biological contactor. They're kind of like a big paddle wheel as the secondary treatment process. Primary treatment is just slowing everything down and getting the heavy stuff to fall out. And then the secondary process, there's many different secondary processes, but we got rid of the RBCs and we went to a sequencing batch reactor, which is a system that we utilize. Anybody that's been in Chautauqua has been by the wastewater plant, sees the big giant concrete tanks that are down there. And there's 2 tanks end to end, and they're about 30 feet deep and 200 feet long, and they they go through a sequence. So one is in one process and one is in another. So there's 2 hours of air that it goes through, because there's direct correlation with how much air we feed the little biological guys.
So
the
you
bugs.
aerate it.
Yes. So we call them bugs.
Yeah.
The more air you give them to a certain extent, the more food they'll consume. So we're just trying to create an environment to keep them happy. So they go through, each tank goes through a 2-hour air phase, and then it goes through an hour settle phase. So the sludge sets down to the bottom of the tank. And then the last phase is decant, and that's an hour, where a big arm comes down and takes the clean water off the top. And you're in a sewer plant, you're trying to separate the clean water from the sludge. So we take that clean water, then goes through another process. It goes through filter and through ultraviolet light system to sanitize it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes out to the lake. The sludge, we take our sludge and haul it wet, and we take it to Westfield. Westfield has a very big plant for grape pressing season, but most of the year their flows aren't real high, so actually it works out great for us in the summertime when our flows are high, that it's kind of a beneficial process for both plants, for us to be able to haul to them. They take it. If we were to press there, when you press sewage, it gets pretty ripe. So so not having to do that right there so close to all the homes is a good benefit for us, that we can haul it. So we've got a 2,000-gallon tanker truck that we haul to Westfield all summer and dump sludge off to them.
Couple trips a day kind of thing?
Yeah, it used to be 4 trips a day, every day, all summer, kind of even before and after the season. And with the new process, we thicken the sludge. So when we take the sludge out of the bottom of those tanks, we send it up to a thickener, and then we dewater that. So then we're just hauling really, really good thick sludge, and it's thicker than what we used to haul. And we can do it just a couple of days a week in the summertime. We do more. We do 5-6 loads a day when we do it, but we can narrow it down so that a guy doesn't have to drive a truck 8 hours a day on the weekend. So it's,
Got it.
it's better.
Now tell me again, let's go to the testing. What happens with the testing with this side of the house?
On the wastewater side, we test for the same things every month, twice a month. We set up samplers that draw samples. Now we do plenty of in-house testing as well for production, and we obviously increase that in the summertime. There's more tests, different ones that we run, and then anything that we do collect, we have the courier pick it up, and it goes to ALS labs in Rochester. So
that's straight again.
Yep.
And an independent lab doing the analysis for you.
Yep.
And then do you have a reporting requirement? I know there's a report on water quality.
Yep.
What kind of report is there on the wastewater?
At both facilities, we're sending stuff every month to the State Department of Health on the water side. On the wastewater side, it goes to the DEC and the EPA. and they want to see all our test results and everything, so they know that we're up to par with everything.
That's terrific. Let's just have one more little item here in the remaining couple of minutes. Tell me about your staff, how many people you have, what kind of turnover, selection, that sort of thing.
We have 6 full-time, so there's myself and Ashley, our financial administrator in the office. And I'm a man on the beat. I'm either at either plant, or out in the system, so, but then we have 2 operators at both plants. We just had some retirements, so we have fired a few new people in the last couple of years, but 6 of us total. And then during the summer, we have 2 part-time guys that work at the water plant at night that continue the pumping on into the night. And they're mainly there to catch if something starts to happen. They give us a call, and then we can come in being the certified operator. We have to be, by law, we have to be within an hour of being back to the facility to help them out. So
you can't go too far away.
No.
You rotate have some other people who are certified.
Yep.
So.
Yep, everybody's licensed that's there except our new guy at the wastewater plant. He just started here. A young man started back in the spring, so he's got to put in his time and then go to schooling, and we'll get him certified too.
That's great. How long is the train up for a typical new employee?
It's a good couple of years. I mean, to really grab a hold of the process, and then to learn all the terminology and everything that we do. We also do all our own repairs as much as we can on equipment. We take care of the distribution and collection system. So anytime there's a water main break or anything like that, or we got a sewer issue, we dig it up and fix it. So we kind of wear a lot of hats. We're not just sitting in the plant, running tests. We also have to take care of all of most of our own maintenance too. So
I know somebody's contractor broke the water line at my house, and I was out of state at the time, off season, and everything I found out about COD folks were there. They worked till late, and no pointing fingers. Let's get this fixed.
Mm-hmm.
And then I couldn't have been more fortunate to have it done well.
Yeah.
So we are out of time. What else really critical do we need to cover about your operations? Anything we've missed?
I don't think so. I did want to say that our wastewater plant's all biological. There's no chemical addition whatsoever. So that was a big benefit to the district, because we're not constantly dealing with chemicals. And, anytime you have a storage of chemicals, there's danger that's involved with that. So that's one thing we don't have to worry about there. There's plenty of other stuff that's dangerous. High-powered electricity and, tanks, gases, all kinds of stuff. So there's plenty of safety, excavation safety. There's plenty of that stuff that we're paying attention to. So to eliminate one thing like that was a benefit to the district. So
that's terrific. Thank you very much for appearing, and
Yes,
do
sir.
come back.
Thank you.
Great.
Take care.